The house party was in full swing, pulsating with energy. Loud music throbbed through the speakers, and people were dancing and laughing. It was one of those hedonistic gatherings where inhibitions melted away, and everyone sought to embrace the night's pleasures. I found myself in the middle of the revelry, a plastic cup of lukewarm beer in hand, moving to the rhythm of the music. The air was thick with laughter and the sweet scent of a certain herbal essence. It was easy to get caught up in the moment, surrendering to the collective euphoria that hung in the atmosphere like a tangible entity. In the crowd, a friend approached me with a small vial of ketamine. I'd heard about it but had never tried it before. My friend's words were barely audible over the music, but the message was clear. "Do you want to give it a shot?" A hasty nod was all it took, and I found myself holding a small amount of the powder. I didn't think too much about it. After all, I'd had my share of wild nights. I leaned in closer to the mirror that held the powdery substance. Using a key, I carefully formed a few lines, feeling a mixture of excitement and uncertainty. One deep inhale, and the fine powder disappeared into my nostrils. I leaned back and handed the key to my friend, who did the same. We locked eyes, grinned, and within minutes, we were transported to a world of the surreal. The onset was gentle, like a warm breeze washing over me. Colors intensified and the music became more hypnotic. I felt lighter, as if my body had been temporarily unburdened of its usual weight. The world around me started to warp and ripple like a reflection in a funhouse mirror. As the ketamine began to weave its peculiar magic, I couldn't help but let out a laugh. It was as if I had stumbled upon a hidden dimension of existence, one where time and space had no rules. I felt like I was floating and my surroundings were distorted, like everything had become stretchy. The partygoers around me became otherworldly creatures, their movements synchronized with the hypnotic beat of the music. For a while I was content to dance and lose myself in the trance-like state that ketamine had induced. The boundary between self and other became blurred, and I felt a profound sense of unity with the people around me. It was intoxicating, like swimming in a sea of shared consciousness. But as the night wore on, the temptation of another hit proved too strong to resist. My friend and I ventured back to the mirror, and this time we indulged a bit more. The world transformed once again, but this time it was as if I had stepped off a precipice into the unknown. The room around me started to stretch upwards until it was completely unrecognizable. I had strong sensation in my body being pulled with incredible force. The music became quieter and more distorted until it was a distant echo. I could feel myself spiraling into an infinite abyss. My body dissolved into fragments, and I lost all sense of orientation. There was no up or down, no left or right. I was adrift in a boundless void, and it was both exhilarating and terrifying. The feeling of being weightless, of floating through the universe, was unlike anything I had ever experienced. Yet, the disconnection from my body was disconcerting. Panic welled up inside me, and I desperately longed to regain a foothold in reality. I closed my eyes, and in the darkness a new world emerged. I was no longer at a raucous house party, but inside the depths of my own consciousness. I encountered memories, emotions, and fears. They swirled around me, demanding my attention. It was as if the ketamine had unlocked the doors to my innermost self. I watched my life unfold, and I understood the interconnectedness of all those experiences. The darkness was both unsettling and oddly comforting. It was a void, but in that void, I found a sense of unity with the universe. I felt a profound connection to the core of existence that transcended words. The fear and confusion that had initially gripped me gave way to a strange sense of serenity. I had descended into what is commonly referred to as a K-hole, but it felt more like a journey into the very essence of my being. It was a spiritual experience in the truest sense, a voyage of self-discovery. Time had lost all meaning, and I have no idea how long I was in this state, but eventually I began to emerge from the depths of the K-hole. I was on the sofa, the house party still going on around me. At first I couldn't move, but I slowly began to regain control of my body. The world I re-entered was not the same as the one I had left behind. It was familiar yet different, as if I had returned with new eyes. I joined the party once more, but this time it was with a profound sense of gratitude and understanding. The music was still intoxicating, the laughter infectious, but I had seen a different facet of reality. The night had taken an unexpected turn, leading me through a labyrinth of consciousness where the boundaries of self had blurred and dissolved. The night slowly gave way to the early hours of the morning, and as the party began to wind down, I stepped outside for some fresh air. The cool night breeze felt invigorating against my skin, and the stars above seemed to twinkle with a mysterious knowing.